In order to preserve overall well being, encourage relaxation, develop creativity, create social relationships, facilitate personal progress, and live a balanced and satisfying life, it is crucial to engage in entertainment and leisure activities. Here we'll talk about the relevance as well as the substances of a video game throughout our day to day lives. So, what exactly is a video game? It is a sort of interactive recreational activity that incorporates player interaction via technological tools such as computers, consoles, or mobile devices. It usually entails a player or players engaging with a virtual world or digital environment in order to achieve specified goals or overcome obstacles. Among countless gamers all around the world and a vibrant business that includes game creation, publishing, esports, and professional gaming events, has a substantial source of entertainment. Video games can come in various genres and formats, including action, adventure, role playing, strategy, simulation, sports, puzzles, and many more. It enables us to take on with one another or work together in multiplayer scenarios and may be played either offline or online. It can also include in our day-to-day lives, structure, and could be part of a job. Video games have their roots in the earliest days of technological advances in computers. Simple interactive games and computer simulations were created in the 1940s and 1950s by the academics and scientists, frequently for educational or military objectives. In 1952, British professor A.S. Douglas, as part of his PhD project at the University of Cambridge, he devised OXO, commonly known as Noughts and Crosses or tic-tac-toe. On a large analog computer and its accompanying oscilloscope screen, William Eugene Botham created Tennis for Two in 1958 at the annual visitors at the Brookhaven National Laboratory in Upton, New York. Lastly, in 1962, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Professor Steve Russell developed Space War on the PDP, a cutting-edge computer that was mostly used in schools at the time. It was the first video game that supported simultaneous play across multiple computers. The video game business had gone through immense technological, visual, gameplay, and accessibility developments during the course of its existence. With an extensive range of genres, platforms, and international communities, it has developed into a multi-billion-dollar business. A remarkable phenomena, the growth of the video game business has been fueled by technological advancements, shifting consumer tastes, and expanding worldwide audience. A prototype multiplayer, multi-program video game system that could be played on a television was developed in 1967 by Saunders Associates Incorporation under the direction of Ralph Baer. It was known as the Brown Box, and Baer was known as the father of video games, granted Magnavox a license to use it. In 1972, Odyssey, the first video game home system, was released to the public. Over the next 3 years, the primitive Odyssey gaming device would lose money and eventually disappear. However, one of the 28 games on the Odyssey served as the inspiration behind Pong, the first arcade video game released in 1972 by Atari. Pong was released for home use by Atari in 1975, and it quickly became as well-liked as the arcade version. Powerful gear including microprocessor, graphic cards, and storage devices have made it possible to produce more complex and visually compelling video games. Immersive gaming experiences were made possible by improvements in computer and machine technology. Throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, the video game industry had several major milestones, including the release of the Space Invaders arcade game in 1978. It was a turning point in video game history and had a major impact on the development of the sector. Tomohiro Nishikado created the arcade game Space Invaders, which was launched by Taito Corporation. One of the first shooting games was Space Invaders. It had a straightforward yet compelling gameplay idea. To obliterate waves of descending alien invaders, the player maneuvered a laser gun at the bottom of the screen in horizontal direction. The player had to kill the aliens before they reached the bottom of the screen, as they would travel left and right and slowly approach the player. Furthermore, the very well-liked Pac-Man from Japan has been introduced to the United States. A cultural icon and one of the best-known and long-lasting video games of all time, Pac-Man was created by Namco and published in Japan in 1980. Pac-Man stood out because of its innovative gameplay and endearing character design. It is a yellow pizza-shaped figure was controlled by players who had to direct him through a maze while dodging four different color ghosts. Power pallets that enabled Pac-Man to defeat the ghost and bonus fruits that came from additional points were two of the game's novel addition. The next product by Nintendo was Donkey Kong, which made Mario famous worldwide. One of the most recognizable characters in video game history was Mario, and it was made famous by Nintendo's 1981 release of Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was developed by famous game designer Shigeru Miyamoto and marked a critical turning point for Nintendo as well as having a long-lasting influence on the gaming industry. Players in Donkey Kong took on the role of Jumpman, a carpenter trying to save his sweetheart Pauline from the claws of the enormous ape known as Donkey Kong. The game's story structure was distinctive and it included ideas like platforming and climbing, which including a number of levels. The official release of the video game Super Mario was the last occurrence. Super Mario is not a single game but rather a series that includes several different games that include the well-known Mario character, which was created by Nintendo. It was made available on the Nintendo Entertainment System on September 13 in Japan and on October 1985 in North America. Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka created the game, which was a huge hit, transforming the video game business and making Mario one of the most well-known and adored characters in gaming. Players in Super Mario Bros. Take control of Mario or Luigi in two-player mode as they set out on a mission to save Princess Peach from the evil Bowser. The Koopa Scheme. The game popularized the idea of side-scrolling platforming as the players made their way through a variety of levels with different themes that were loaded with adversaries, challenges, and power-ups. The term video game crash describes a severe decline in the North American video game market that took place in the early 1980s. It was a time of sharply declining sales, oversaturation of the market, subpar games, and customer dissatisfaction that caused the industry to momentarily crash. These elements caused a dramatic decline in the video game business. Many video game firms filed for bankruptcy, and shops severely cut back on or stopped selling video games. Customers lost interest, and sales in the sector dropped significantly. The video game crisis served as a sobering reminder of video quality of assurance, market saturation, and preserving customer confidence in the gaming sector. The ways in which games are created, promoted, and distributed have changed permanently as a result of the lesson learned from this catastrophe. Modern video games are those created in the present period of video game technology and development, which is defined by improvements in gameplay mechanics, visuals, internet connectivity, and immersive experiences. One of the most important aspects of the video game industry is that consumers are more inclined to purchase a new game if it offers them something novel. As a result, consoles and other video game hardware have advanced quickly. Over the course of more than 50-year history of video game consoles, there have been 9 technology generations, each of which improved on the one before it. In the early years of gaming, there was a lot of competition among different companies in the console market. Examples include Fairchild, Mattel, and Atari. In the 1980s, certain new businesses started to flourish, such as Sega and Nintendo. So included above are Atari's gadgets, gaming consoles, and top titles. The Mattel Systems, a hyperscan console, The Intellivision family computer and the Pixter are all featured here. So the Nintendo products are also included, which comprise a home computer, a Game Boy, and gaming consoles. Additionally, we carry all Sega's products, which are obviously all consoles. We also have here the Super Mario Odyssey and the Splatoon 3, which was the most popular games from Nintendo, and here is how they played. Including the most popular video game of Sega, which was Sonic the Hedgehog and Mortal Kombat. Now let's tackle about the virtual reality. A new technique known as virtual reality refers to a computer-generated environment that may replicate physical presence and allow users to interact with and experience the virtual world as if they were truly there. Users of VR specializes headsets that detect their head motions and project a stereoscopic image of the virtual environment into each of their eyes, producing a sensation of depth and immersion. Virtual reality's main objective is to give users a sensation of presence by escorting them into an interactive, realistic feeling computer-generated environment. It might be wholly fictitious, simulating made-up settings or narratives, or they can mimic actual places or events. Overall, virtual reality technology has the potential to change the way we engage with digital and content and create experiences that combine both the real and virtual world, opening up new opportunities in entertainment, education, and other fields. So here we have the examples of the virtual reality games, which was the Resident Evil and the Beat Saber. So now let's move on to esports. Electronic sports or esports are organized competitive video games that are played in a regulated and professional way. It entails players or teams competing against one another in multiplayer video games, frequently focusing on well-known releases in different genres such as first-person shooters, tactical games, multiplayer online battle arenas, fighting games, and sports simulations. Professional players, teams, leagues, and tournaments are drawing sizable audiences and bringing in a sizable amount of money as esports has expanded quickly in popularity and became a global phenomenon. Esports competition may range in size from little neighborhood contests to major international championships played in stadiums or streamed online to millions of people. Video gaming has been evolved into a spectator sport that draws a wide range of spectators, including both casual players and non-players. Its quick development has boosted awareness, media attention, and in certain nations even formal recognition from sporting organizations. With continuous professional leagues, worldwide competitions, and the incorporation of cutting-edge technology like virtual reality and augmented reality, esports are still developing. The sector is growing quickly, with esports playing a big role in the world of entertainment. So here let's talk about the video game consoles in the Philippines. Digital games have been a significant element of Filipino culture ever since the 1970s and 1980s saw the introduction of home video game technology. Atari's home video game system are warmly remembered by those who use them. The popularity of Pong on the market inspired several other home video games to follow suit. The introduction of Pong signaled the start of the digital gaming era, which affected Filipino sensibilities. In the Philippines, these consoles may be purchased via licensed merchants, gaming shops, and internet marketplaces. Consequently, I've listed instances of consoles, handheld and non-handheld gadgets that have been made accessible in the Philippines since then, which includes the family computer, brick game, Game Boy, Tamagotchi, PlayStation, Xbox, W2, personal computers, and even cell phones are still popular among Filipinos for playing video games. Another significant component of Filipino culture is online gaming. To accommodate a variety of tastes, Gaming peripherals, physical copies of games, and digital downloads are readily accessible. To get the most recent information on individual consoles and models and their availability, it is advised to check with local stores or online marketplace. The availability of cost of consoles in the Philippines may also vary. So I have here a list of the first ever video game that is invented in the Philippines. The very first video game ever created in the Philippines is presented here, together with Level Up. One of the first internet gaming publishing firms in the Philippines was called Games 2002 saw Level Up presented Ozworld, the country's first massively multiplayer online game. Ozworld was an online and virtual environment where users could design their avatars, communicate with other users, and take part in a variety of activities including interacting socially, playing games, and attending events. The game became well liked in the Philippines and provided Filipino gamers with a distinctive online community experience. Added to this, we have the action-adventure role-playing game, Anita Defend a Land Rage, which was created by the Filipino game production studio Anina Games. It was published in 2003 and is regarded as one of the most illustrious early games produced in the Philippines. Players go through the made-up country of Morocco in Anito Defend a Land Rage, which is based on the Philippines mythology and folklore. The gameplay of the game mixes puzzle solving, exploration, and typical RPG gaming features. Players take on the role of a hero who must protect the region from otherworldly threats while also piecing together a complex plot. Lastly, there is Ragnarok Online, which was released in 2004, teamed up with Tectoy to enter the Brazilian market. Level Up debuted in February 2005. Ragnarok Online, a free edition of the company's brand, was released on the game's Brazil's first MMORPG on the nation. In Ragnarok Online, users enter a fantasy setting based on the Norse mythology and go on missions, battle monsters, and communicate with other players in persistent online environment. The game has an animated inspired graphic style, a large selection of character classes, and a complex leveling and skill system that lets players personalize the skills of their characters. Like with any population, the effects of video games in Filipinos might vary based on a number of factors, including player preferences, gaming habits, and the environment in which video games are often played. Video games might have both advantages and drawbacks for learning, in addition to any negative effects. There are several ways that video games may be used to support learning and education. Most video games need some kind of strategic or problem-solving thinking. Small motor skills and hand-eye coordination can be developed with the use of input devices like a mouse or keyboard. The impact of video games might differ from person to person. Therefore, it is critical to remember that moderation and appropriate gaming habits are fundamental. People of all ages must evaluate how video games affect their lives and make wise decisions regarding their gaming habits. And overall, video games have emerged as a key form of leisure and amusement for many Filipinos, offering chances for cultural involvement, skill development, and social contact. Technology has the potential to be an effective teaching tool, providing a wealth of advantages and opportunity. Numerous gadgets can access the large quantity of knowledge and learning materials that the internet offers. Students have access to current knowledge in a variety of topics, the ability to undertake research, and the chance to consider many points of view. Video games might have both positive and negative effects on learning, in addition to whatever negative effects they might have. While technology may be a useful tool for learning, it should be utilized with intention and in harmony with other educational philosophies. When incorporating technology into learning settings, educators, students,